I'm Lena Clugston.
And I'm Rick Clugston.
We live in Freeport, Maine, but we were formerly of Washington, D.C., where we raised our daughter, who attended King's.
So your daughter, Claire, graduated from King's?
She did.
And what was her program?
She did international development, a combined honors degree, with contemporary studies at King's.
Did Claire attend a Waldorf school before coming to King's?
Yes, she did. She went to the Washington Waldorf School from 1st to 12th grade.
Could you sum up in a line or two what a Waldorf education is?
I would say that it's a classical education that includes the arts as part of all academic study, including poetry, biography, music, art, movement, and also there's a stress on the importance of knowing how to make things. So all the children can knit and sew and make chairs, in point of fact.
And what links do you see between a Waldorf school and King's?
Well, it's an interesting question. I will admit I had to turn to my daughter a bit for her perspective on that. But just speaking for both of us then, neither a Waldorf school nor King's use textbooks. There is an emphasis placed on the importance of reading the original text, and there's an emphasis placed on depth of understanding. Likewise, there's an emphasis on reading the classics as a way to understand our own culture.
Why did Claire choose King's versus a school in the States?
Well, she wanted to live in Canada. Lena's family originally was from Canada, and we have a summer home in Newfoundland, and it was a strong pull for her. The foundation year program was very unique and sort of resonated with her Waldorf approach to education. Very good, strong liberal arts education, but not as expensive as small American liberal arts schools, which was a factor. And she thought it had a very interesting student body and a very intimate learning environment.
I would say the student body, her closest friends are her King's friends. She graduated in 2007, but those are the people that she really spends time with when she's not working, when she has vacation and so on. They're very, very close, all of them still.
What do you think it is about King's that makes it a good environment for students to learn and grow and forge friendships?
It's because I think the professors know the students quite well, and they do demand a high quality of thought, and they always tell you how you can improve in your work, and they challenge your ideas. And they also, as my daughter says, they won't accept nonsense. And
I think also there's a very deep love of learning, and that's sort of outside of the dominant consumer culture in some ways. And I don't know, we sometimes call it Hogwarts. There is that sort of element of being in a place apart.
The student body, very interesting young people, and they not only bond to one another quite closely, but they have a lot of fun during their time there. Because theatrics are open to everybody, at King's, our older son did not go to King's. He went to a more traditional school where if you were going to be in the drama program at all, you had to be a drama major. And that's another part of being a Waldorf student. You're always putting on plays. And so at King's, there was an opportunity to continue that form of expression, deepen it, and be quite independent of what anybody thought was appropriate. The students created their own performances. They were wonderful.
Do you think there's freedom and independence of thought that is similar between King's and the Waldorf school?
Yeah, I would say in the sense that there's an effort to actually help the person become who they are rather than drive them to a certain place that's sort of preordained.
And these tutorials that are part of the FIP program really provide opportunities for each individual student to examine issues in some depth, which is similar to the kind of writing that they do at a Waldorf school. And in fact, the rigorous writing program at King's is really what first attracted us to the program. Waldorf students are noted for their ability to write because they write. They write a lot. So it was a very good fit in that way. And I think that, as Rick said, because it wasn't prescribed what you would write, but you had freedom to choose, it was a good fit.
I think it's wonderful, too, that you speak of the fun that the students have.
Oh, yes.
Did Claire immerse herself in the student life?
Absolutely. She was the head of a dance collective for a while, and she partook in several performances, and she plays violin, so she was in demand for backup on various CDs that people were making or to play at performances. And there's also a lively life in Halifax, which is a lot of fun for the students.
How does Halifax contribute to the overall experience?
That's the city my father was born in, so I have a fondness for it. But aside from that, it has this diverse social arts activity and many interesting theater opportunities, a wonderful market. I guess it's even become more wonderful since our day. There are a lot of lectures, educational activities, but most importantly, it's small enough for the students to get around in. So it's rich culturally, but it has a small feel. But it has all these options as though you were in a big city.
What is Claire doing now?
Claire's finishing with the Peace Corps. She entered the Peace Corps in February of 2008, finished her 27 months in last May, and extended for another year. So in order to make her Spanish more fluent. And when she's finished with the Peace Corps, which will be in June, she's planning to attend graduate school in international development. And it was interesting. She wrote to professors because she needed letters of reference. And I guess she was not surprised, but I was, by how absolutely they knew who she was. And this is, 4 years later. Remembered her work. Were quite happy to write her letters. And it just seemed like all of those things that you want from a close student-professor relationship were there for her when she needed it.
And she had the connection, the opportunity to take classes at Dalhousie and study at Dalhousie as well as remain rooted at King's.
Right, that was the international development piece, was at Dalhousie and contemporary studies at King's.
What would you say to other parents whose children are considering King's?
I would certainly encourage them to do so. I think that they should be aware of the relative demandingness, particularly of the foundation year, in terms of the level of writing and reading that it requires. And so it's probably not for everyone, but it certainly is a great place to go if you're able to approach that subject matter in that level of depth with that level of concentration.
And my last question to you, what makes King's unique?
It's this opportunity to read the classics texts and this rigorous writing program, and the whole for America, for U.S. citizens, the British system is not particularly well known, and so that makes it very unique for us as coming from the United States. But it is this tiny little community of really smart and likable kids that are all focused on the same thing, if the fifth students, working together. And in this rather, as my husband said, Hogwarts-type setting, this magical place with a lovely, safe city to play in as well. I can't emphasize enough, though, how much it really is about the academics for us and the opportunity to really learn to think and write, and how deeply appreciative we are of that as a fundamental skill in life that is worth way more than any training in any particular thing in many cases. Because if you can think and you can write and you have depth to your understanding and your critique, you are suitable. You can live in the 21st century.